Hi, we're here having tea. It's a nice rainy afternoon. It's been a very nice day. The weather's been shifting. We're here on borrowed time, Indian summer, and we're enjoying luscious teas. I'm actually here with some tea that I picked myself this year. I've started to respond to plants in a new way, and finding ones that I'm very drawn to, and then finding out where they grow so I can, use them for tea, and so I can smoke that instead of going to the store. I can go to the mountaintop or go down to the beach and find some other stuff that people have been smoking since way before the Europeans started coming here. But yeah, so these teas we're enjoying here. I guess it's been a nice year for growing food and picking tea and getting what we need from our surrounding environment. Just kind of learning to be a part of a community that's larger than the human community, and includes plants basically, who I think are very similar to us, except they can't talk or walk, but they do their own things, and I think it's good to have a relationship with them. And they say you are what you eat, so the more plants we consume, the more plant-like we're going to become. Which goes off from yesterday. We put up our greenhouse in a fertile underground garden on Pearl Street. Been working on that for about 2 months, and had to call the raising of it, so we got 8 of us down there yesterday to pick up the piece and put the posts under it, and so it's standing good. It's just more woodwork and framing, and of course part of the game for me is salvaging materials. On site there's lots of old brick and other foundation material that were unearthed in the digging out around the area and kind of leveling things out. Also, I dug a trench into the ground so that the greenhouse is more insulated and has more of an earthy feel. You kind of step down into it, and in there was tons of bricks, enough to make the whole foundation. A lot of the wood there's some wood there, and just kind of keeping privy to the angles that people are offering when they say, "Oh, I know about such and such spot of wood," and that's part of it's part of a different economy. It's not about this. The economy isn't about just moving money around. It's about organizing the things that we already have into a beneficial situation, rather than just having these piles of debris kind of left over from all of our endeavors thus far. We were talking about that today. Just a lot of contractors will see as a sign of they're doing well that they can afford to buy new materials. They can afford to scrap big pieces of wood, that I think are big, but to them it's just 2.5 feet of wood. It's no big deal. But for me, I have a much more dainty approach toward using the wood. As a descendant of loggers, I have the blood of or the sap of hundreds of trees on my karmic balance, and so I have an immense desire to make use of what wood is around. If there's a pile of wood sitting somewhere rotting and getting wet, it's kind of part of responsibility toward the plant, toward the tree, to put it into a good spot where it has a purpose again, considering it was taken from its natural home for some reason or another. And even with a project like this, the greenhouse, after looking at it standing up, I realized that all the human does is organize it into a way that makes sense for the human activity. But the tree itself, those trees are what's holding it up. They're the one that made something out of nothing. They turn the sunlight into a block of wood. I mean, no matter how good of a craftsman I become, I don't think I'll gain that power. So just, and that's it. That's the quintessence, which is the human element of the 4 elements. Yes, but the 5th element, which is the quintessence of the human spirit, which works to organize the environment into a more beneficial, surroundings, such as a greenhouse, trying to control the environment, make a little microcosm, as we said going into the project, 300 square feet at a time, we can continue to renew the environment and make it a fun, unique, and novel place to interact.
And, as you were talking about, the lengths of wood, 2.5 feet, we've needed, on this project, we've needed shorter pieces than that, And so just because it's 2.5 feet long it means nothing. It's like, to you can't use it, but it can be used over here, And I think that's part of the conservation of stuff, is being able to connect people with the stuff they need, in that art book upstairs, there's that little sign that says Onlyville needs a library and not luxury lofts. And it's like, where can the resources best be used? And, teaching people how to read and how to expand their world and know about stuff, and know about ecology, know about recycling, know more stuff. That's what people need, not lofts that people can't afford to live in, It's like you build them and then they go vacant and, like, I don't know. But, I'm into the whole thing of actually, being able to use even the sawdust. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about down to the sawdust. Nothing gets wasted. That can get turned into pulp and we'll make paper out of it. Do you understand what I'm talking about? Nothing gets wasted. There's no waste in a system of energy. Nina?
You can compost the sawdust. Make a composting toilet and then use that on it.
That's another good use. Two right there. We can all come up with uses for sawdust,
Burn it.
If we needed to.
Yeah.
And we're talking about stoves that we can use that'll efficiently burn that sawdust.
My friend.
Organizing
better to
materials.
compost it.